Yes, people, we are back live. We are back live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube for another Manchester United Arsenal show, Man United podcast. Gonna talk from the Arsenal podcast. So make sure you keep all your comments, all your questions, Manchester United or Arsenal related. Make sure you hit the like button on the video as well. Let's bump up those likes immediately. Please make sure you share across all of the socials. And on top of those two things, make sure you subscribe to the channel Sarcasm City TV as well. And make sure you subscribe to my co-host of the show. His channel, the link is in the title, TJ Warren TV. TJ, how you doing, man? You good?
Dude, I'm good. Like I told you backstage, we're gonna get into this. You made me feel bad about being positive already. This is the first time I'm coming on the show. I'm honestly feeling truly positive. Obviously, I was on the Q&A, but like coming onto this show, I was like, yeah, I can actually talk about it. It's just like, are we overreacting? And then I was starting to think, I'm like, am I overreacting?
Yeah, that's what
Oh
we're gonna
man,
discuss.
now we gotta answer these questions. So it's like a therapy session. We'll work through it. We'll work through it.
We're gonna work
But
through it
yeah, man, I'm great.
100%. Love that. Yeah,
I'm
man.
great.
That's what we do. We have to ask the questions. But obviously, we
Yeah.
will be discussing Arsenal's win versus Manchester City. And also when the title players unhappy with Ten Hag over Sancho treatment. That's according to reports. So that's why I did put the question marks in regards to that as well. And it's not just me and TJ on the show, joined by a special guest who's been on the show before. If you watch the Pro Club streams, you see him on there as well. Top quality striker. You know what I'm saying? Easily one of the best strikers I played with on pro clubs, without doubt. A very knowledgeable fan as well. Doesn't get ahead of himself. That's one thing I do rate. Does not get ahead of himself, and he's definitely not overreacting to the victory for Arsenal against Manchester City. Yes, Grim, what are you telling me? You good?
How you doing? How you doing? Oh, Flores, every time I hear this intro, I just go and just smile, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank
All
you
good,
very
man.
much,
It's all
man.
good, man. It's only right.
It's an honor to know you, man. It's an honor to know you. TJ, we're gonna have a good night. Let's go,
Yes.
man. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
It's only right, man, to give people their flowers, man. It is only right. And large up the chat. I see you lot in the chat as well. And see Warrior J knew from when I said, yo, knowledgeable Arsenal fan, one of the best pro clubs players. That's why he put Crim with a question mark. Like, he already knew what it was. But big up to Warrior J. I see you. Big up Stephanie G. Also, Andy MU. Good to see you in the chat as well. Good to see members in the chat. Link is in the pinned comment. AJ Byatt, I see you. Footy chats as well. Staffy, good to see Staffy in the building. He said he invited TJ. Big up to Staffy.
I don't even know who
Make sure you
Staffy is.
subscribe.
Who's Staffy? Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
It is. Let's see what else you lot are saying. When Flawless said best striker, I see the pro clubs. I thought he was talking about me. Staffy, in my defense, I've not actually seen you play pro clubs like that. So I didn't even know he was a striker.
No,
I can only speak.
He was talking a huge game last night.
Yeah,
Huge
yeah.
game.
I have to only talk about, like, when it comes to Grim and Haaland as well. Those two as a duo is ridiculous. That's the best partnership I've ever seen as well. But pro clubs will be returning once I actually cop EA Sports 24, whatever it's called, and actually find time to indeed play it. But let's get into the show and obviously start with Arsenal's win versus Manchester City. So before we get into the fan reaction, we'll start with that. TJ, how do you feel about the win in regards to finally beating Manchester City, because it's been a minute?
No, and it's fine to finally get that monkey off their back. If we, to coin an American phrase here, we finally got past them. Yep. I mean, and that was a huge win for us. And I'm not trying to overgas where we are and how we're playing, but just in terms of overall morale, I would say it's a huge boost for this fan base too, because now it shows that we can actually compete with the best. We are taking it seriously, and we are capable of beating teams like Manchester City. And yes, of course, they were without Rodri. Yes, of course, they were without De Bruyne. Their midfield was outplayed, in my opinion, by ours. But it's one of those things where you can only play who's in front of you.
Facts.
And they still have Pep. Like I was saying on here, I was predicting a 2-1 loss. And because it's still Pep Guardiola, it's still, Gvardiol, it's still, it's still Kyle Walker, it's still Ederson. We still have to go out there and play a game. And we did it without Bukayo Saka too. So I just think it was a huge win for us. Huge win for us. It showed that we do have some resiliency in this club. Do I think we're deep enough to really go far? That remains to be seen. But it did show some resiliency. So yes, I am feeling positive. Am I overreacting? I don't think so. I don't think so. I just think I'm being realistic.
I haven't heard you say anything wild though. Obviously, you enjoyed the win, but that's
I enjoyed the win, and I lost it like we had won. You know, somebody said it looked like I had won the Super Bowl after we scored the goal, which is fine. It's fair, bro. No, that's fair. No, that's fair because like once you see that ball go
in the moment, you're gonna be like that though. I would do the same.
Oh, dude,
I would do the same in the moment.
The neighbors, I'm pretty sure the neighbors were gonna call the cops. Like I lost it. I absolutely lost it, bro. But no, like look, I've been honest about the quality of football coming from this squad moving forward from day one. I think we were so solid defensively against Man City that you got to give Arteta his flowers. The substitutions were perfect. Literally everybody that subbed on for that match touched the ball before Martinelli put it in off Ake's dome. Like it was a substitution masterclass, and you cannot say that about Arteta too much. Arteta got them right in this instance. I mean, and people were asking me who my man of the match was. I mean, it's obviously Martinelli. He provided an absolute spark. I mean, you know, and if you're going to go into, you know, difference makers, right? It didn't look like we were going to be getting anything from that game until we saw Martinelli come on and light a fire. So yeah, man. Am I overreacting? No, I don't think I'm overreacting, but it's okay to be positive after beating the European champions. I think that's fair.
No, that's fair, of course. Exactly, because if you lot would have lost, then you would have been here and been on your own platform criticizing the team.
I would have been sitting here being like, "Told you," you know, but I was wrong, and they proved me wrong. So yeah.
No, that's fair. Before we get on to Grim as well, big up to Surfer in the cut, and here he is hating per usual, and he says, "Boo, Grim can't head a ball on pro clubs. Cost me hell assists with laughing emojis." Big up to Surfer though, every single time. You know what this guy's
big
like.
Up Surfer, man.
Can't wait to get back to you on the new
one. This squad sounds pretty toxic to me. I don't know.
Oh, of course, the Surfer's involved. You know what it's like. You acting like you won. You don't know. I'm saying the panelists. 2, you join the NBA group chat. You see what it's like. And 3, you read the comment section. You know what it's like, man. Like, look at the characters we've got. So, very good, but yeah, it does get toxic. But we do the business because hey, we won Division 1 multiple times, so I can't wait to get back to it. I really can't. But yeah, Grim, your thoughts on the game and beating Manchester City? Because beforehand, what was your prediction beforehand?
My one was a 2-1 win to City.
Yeah, see, great mind.
2-1 win to City, and with a hope of snatching a point and get out of there type of game.
Got you.
But my thoughts, in regards to my thoughts was, I believe it's I'm gonna keep it simple in saying this. It's 8 games in, and the season is long. Yes, we beat City today, but we've seen time and time again where Arsenal have gone to beat one of the big 6 and bless you, and then gone down to a level where they will lose against one of the lower teams. So can they keep that consistency of that high pressure? And last season does not speak well for themselves, because we all know what happened then. So yes, we beat Man City, but it's one game and we have to do it. A lot of fans are getting excited. I could understand if it was the semi-finals or finals or something a bit see.
If it was like Champions League or something.
Right. There's more to it. But it's just 3 points. Take the 3 points cut and go and start again. You don't see City celebrating against us when they win. Yes, you might have De Bruyne, but you know, De Bruyne is a brick. So we just leave it as that. And because every time he plays against us, he just has this hatred. I don't know what it is. It's just like he just hates us for no reason. But yeah, in terms of TJ said it was a masterclass. This is where I was stretching back a little bit, TJ. You said masterclass, and I would say you should have known that would have been your starting 11 from the beginning anyway. So is it really a masterclass? Partey should be starting.
I would say defensively. I think going forward we weren't very good.
Yes, defensively, but there are some chances City on they would have scored, and that the score line would have been different on another day. You know, so yes, we got the 1-0 and we got out there, but Raya also gave away a lot of opportunities for them to score. and silly errors in the middle. I would say this: I'm not a big fan of Jorginho, but he came in and put a shift on that day. To be fair, I'm not a fan of him. He can't run for nobody, and when he passes the ball, I don't know if you ever seen this, TJ. He sort of like points to where he wants the ball to go. Like the opponent is going to read that anyway. Like, come on,
he's easy to read.
But so overall, I'm happy we got the 3 points for us, but we just keep it stepping on to the next.
Do you think, Grim, do you think Jorginho, just real quick on the Jorginho, do you think Jorginho, I would say he was above average. Do you think that's because he had a certain level of confidence because of the people around him? Like, I think Declan Rice put in an incredible game. I think he was great. I don't think it was man of the match quality, but I think he showed what we brought him in to do. And then obviously we have Gabriel and Saliba there. Do you think that playing next to those guys raises Jorginho's game?
Yes, and I would also say no as well, because you have to understand the opponents we played on that day as well. We played Foden and what's the other kid's name? William? No.
I know
Foden, Rico
Lewis,
and Kovacic,
Rico Lewis,
Bernardo Silva.
Right?
Yeah,
so that is a new midfield pairing. So on any given day, Jorginho can turn up. But to be fair, I see Arteta buying Jorginho more for Champions League. The game is a little bit slow paced, and anything. I don't think Jorginho will do quite well within the Premier League. Yes, against maybe the lower teams, or based off how they set up against us. But I can't see Jorginho being the pinnacle for us throughout the season. I can't see it.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah,
because Warrior J.
But I do give but like I said, I give him his flowers on that day. To be fair, he did show up. Declan Rice did make a lot of tackles, and it showed what a brilliant signing we have. We also got to give him his flowers on that day as well, because he saved us so many times when they were through on goal, and allowing someone there. I feel we kind of similar doing what we did to Saka in regards to Saka was injured. Saka got injured via playing so much, and now you have Declan Rice doing a two-man job. It's only eventually he's going to break down. So we need to check. So I would say more of a rotate, but we'll come to that. But overall, I would say good performance, and we keep it stepping. 3 points, on to the next for us.
Yes.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Because Warrior J, speaking of that, did say her thoughts on Jorginho, Rice, and Odegaard's performances on Sunday. And would you still stick with Raya in goal, since I thought Raya looked a bit shaky for Arsenal in the beginning of the game? So obviously you mentioned Jorginho, you both mentioned Rice. Where do you both stand up with Odegaard though? Because that is someone now I do see and receiving criticism. And then when I seen the stat and it was like he only has like 15 assists, I was like, whoa, that has to be concerning, especially a player of his quality, number one, and two, with the attacking players he has around him as well. So where are you at with Odegaard's performance on Sunday and overall, TJ? We'll start with you.
Yeah, I think that he was okay. Like he didn't really put a foot wrong, but he's not coming through with straight edge performances. He's not coming through and he's not putting in the performances you would expect from an Arsenal captain playing against the European champions. Like he does tend to disappear from the bigger games. I mean, I said this point earlier and somebody was like, well, he showed up against Man United. Yes, he did. He did show up against Man United. But other than that, like he looks to be a little bit of a flat track bully. A little bit.
Interesting.
Let's be honest. He'll come in and he'll put in the performances against the Nottingham Forest, the I don't want to say Fulham because we drew against Fulham, but the Man United, no offense, you guys are garbage this season.
Yeah. Take offense.
Bournemouth, like he put in a 10 out of 10 against Bournemouth, or not a 10 out of 10, but like a 9 out of 10 against Bournemouth. He doesn't really show up in these bigger games, which is one of the bigger criticisms you can have against him. Is he solid? I think he's as solid as they come. He's up for he got nominated for the Ballon d'Or for a reason. I do think he is one of the best cams in the league. I just want to see more of, more results. That's really all that's missing from his game is the results. He pressed. He didn't really play very well in the North London Derby, in my opinion, but he pressed the crap out of him. He works hard. You can tell he cares. He was trying to get the crowd into it most of the game. But I still think we need to see more out of an Arsenal captain, especially when we're gunning. I'm being told we're gunning for this league. So show me that we're gunning for this league. We need everybody to start showing up. Everybody. And sometimes Odegaard just doesn't. He just doesn't. And would I still stick with Ray in goal? Yes, I would still stick with Ray in goal. Clean sheet against Man City. Yes, he did look a little bit shaky at times, but it was still a clean sheet. He was still commanding back there. Him and Gabriel gave me a heart attack in the first 10 minutes there, but he did eventually take control of that game in the last 45. So yes, I would stick with Raya. The manager believes in him, and right now the manager is looking like he's getting it right now. So you got to back Raya, in my opinion.
What are you saying, Grim? Where do you stand at with Odegaard's performance on Sunday and also his performances overall and Raya as well?
In regards to Odegaard, I saw there was sometimes he was hiding behind some players.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want to receive the ball.
Wow.
But I would give Odegaard a solid 6, to be honest. Like, he didn't do nothing right, but he didn't do nothing wrong at the same time. It's just like he just did the basics. And I don't know if it's a thing where Haaland's not performing, so I'm not going to perform as well, country to countryman type of thing. But nah, but when I look at Odegaard, right, Odegaard is coming from a background where he needs to be, show love, because everywhere he's been to, they sort of say to him that, hey, you're a good player, but it's not what we're looking for. Now here comes Arsenal. We took him on a loan, and the loan I wasn't really convinced on the loan side of things. I was like, yeah, I can see the potential, and there's a high ceiling. Let's see how we do it. So when we signed him on a permanent, I was like, okay, cool. Odegaard has amazing ability, like TJ said, but there seem to be, I don't know if it's going to the next level or he hasn't reached there yet. I just sometimes I don't get it, because there are times he did perform last year against Tottenham. Maybe this year he didn't, but he did perform quite well, and he has been shooting a lot more than he previously did. And some of the shots are brilliant goals that he scored. So yes, there is Odegaard, I would say, when in regards to like the lower teams, yes, he does tend to show more, but that's because sometimes I look at the game quite different as well. And I said maybe the opponent is tactically blocking him out from doing what he wants to do on a normal basis. So there's different parts of the game that we have to look at in regards to Odegaard. Now, in terms of Raya, when we signed Ramsdale, the very first season, a lot of people will be like, why would you say that? I said to myself that this keeper will get you to the top 4, but you will need to buy in a couple of years' time.
You talk about Ramsdale? Oh, you mean? Yeah.
That's correct. Ramsdale.
Yeah.
So when we sign now, Raya is on a loan without an option to buy. So did they give the Arteta the all clear that okay, you are able to buy him next year, because there's no option on the loan.
Now, so Raya, there is an option. I think it's 3. I think
there's an option. We got 27 mil.
Yeah, is it 20? Is it 3 million?
Mil? So we got it's 30 total. We loaned him for 3, but we got to pay the 27 at the end.
So there's an issue. Yeah, so the rest you can buy him if needs be. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My bad. Well, in that
Grim?
sense, then he's better with his feet for sure. And Ramsdale, Raya looks like that type of person. Like if he makes a mistake, he doesn't really care. Whereas Ramsdale, it gets to him and it affects his game. I'm sure if Ramsdale made those errors that Raya made, I would say a couple of times in the Champions League and against City, that Ramsdale would have taken him a while to get that confidence back again. Because Ramsdale is a confidence player, along with Odegaard and along with a lot of our players. They are confidence players.
Oh, that's fair. That's very fair. Large up to everyone in the chat. I see you lot continue to get your questions in. Please just keep them Manchester United or Arsenal related. But large up to my guy Eddie. I see him in the chat as well. You see him 10:30 p.m. tonight UK time on the Man United podcast, talking all things Manchester United. But yeah, we're at 27 likes, people. Like check 1212. Let's get us up to 40 likes. Make sure you hit the subscribe button here as well. And also make sure you subscribe to TJ's channel, TJ Warren TV. The link is not only underneath in the description on this live stream, it's underneath in the description of every single live stream. It's also on the homepage as well. So when you go to the homepage on the YouTube channel here, you see the featured channels and you'll see TJ's channel on there. So make sure you sub, hit the notification bell. One of the mods, please put it in the chat as well. Of course, if you lot super chat, we'll get straight to your question as well. But I'm picking out the best questions. Don't worry, I am starring them as well. And there was one I actually wanted to get to in regards to AJ, who said, question please for Grim and TJ. What do you make of the super fans saying if we get Ivan Toney and Neto in January, it guarantees the domestic cup double, providing we are still in the League Cup in January? TJ, we'll go to you. See you laughing there. Hey, they'd be two very good additions, though.
They would be incredible. They would be incredible.
But the first line you said was a bit much. Let's slow it down. It will make us better, yes, but it would not. Sorry, TJ. I was just want to
cool.
let them
Grim,
know
man.
that it will make us better.
Get to it, Grim. Go on.
Go ahead, Grim. Go ahead. I'll go second on this one. Go, Grim.
Pause. Ivan Toney will be 5 times, 10 times, 20 times better than the Nketiah that we have up top.
True, I agree with that.
All right. So if you're saying to me that I can guarantee to get maybe 15 goals minimum for the season if he comes in for the rest of the season, if he gets like 10 to 15, I'm good with that. Like that, those numbers, as we saw with City, it only takes 1 goal and you walk out of there. Right? Now, in regards to Neto, we've been there before. Arsenal I believe Neto is a gamble. Yeah, is he a brilliant player? Sure. But is that injury going to come back again, or has he overlooked that injury? So there's questions that we have to ask ourselves, that if we're trying to replace people, we not only want to replace them for next year or short term, it's long term we're looking at. And one of the things I looked at as well with Arsenal, and I'll go back to that City game, just bear with me, right?
Yeah, it's all good, man.
I'm looking at, we have one of the youngest squads in the Premier League, and we look as tired as them, which have just competed for 3 cups. Mm-hmm. Surely something is going, like we need to improve this. We need to use our youth as Arsenal. We need to use our youth to our ability as our strength moving forward. And with the manager making a few changes and everything's all over the place, only time will tell.
No,
but yeah,
fair.
Ivan Toney and Neto definitely would be a good shout. But I believe there's other areas that we also need to look at as well, not just those positions.
No, that's fair. No, where you at? Let's say hypothetically you do sign and Ivan Toney and Neto in January, TJ.
I started laughing because guarantee is such a strong word. I
love
so
fans. And by the way, that wasn't AJ. He's literally talking about the super fans thing.
Yeah, I know.
I've not watched, but I can believe Arsenal fans. I can believe fans have said this. This sounds like something fans would say. Oh, that guarantees it.
Yeah. No, it guarantees it, man. Yeah. No, we're gonna do the quadruple, right? No. I think that it definitely ups our chances, but Arteta likes rotating the squads in these competitions. It's very, very, and I don't see him changing that this season. Yes, he does need a trophy, in my opinion, to keeping his job. But like, I say this on the show all the time. What is the best indicator of future behavior? past and present behavior. And I really think that he is going to continue to rotate the squad. And so eventually you're going to come up against a squad that is not rotating, and he does rotate, and it's going to be bad. Like we're coming up against West Ham, and they aren't mugs. So
that's not going to be an easy game.
Yeah, like are we going to go into the London Stadium and play Sago Jr. on the right, Jorginho as captain? We better not. So whether or not we get Ivan Toney in or Neto in at all, like you have to consider that we have 4 other competitions. Arteta knows that, and we know that his priority is the Champions League and the league. So it is, I would love to get Ivan Toney and Neto in. I think that we have to have Toney minimum if we want to continue to challenge for the league. But yeah, to guarantee is you guys know me. That's a little bit too rose-colored for me. Yeah, I think saying that it's a stretch is an understatement.
That is. Yeah, that is. And just a question to Joe, who asked this, I can answer for the Arsenal fan. He says, what happens to Havertz if Arsenal get Toney? Where Havertz has been for the past few games on the bench. That's what's happening to Havertz. Like I told everybody when it came to Kai Havertz, when I had Arsenal fans saying, oh, Arteta's going to get the best out of him. Arteta has realized very, very quickly, and you don't get credits for putting out fires you started, that Arsenal are a better side without Havertz. This is why you don't see him in midfield anymore. And this is why you see Eddie and Nketiah playing ahead of him. Like, this tells you all you need to know. And him coming off the bench. Like, and if Arsenal were to sign Ivan Toney, that just pushes him down the pecking order even further. It was a mistake Arteta made, even though he did his bit for the goal. Yeah, go on, Greg.
Yeah. With Havertz, TJ, it was Arteta who lost the bet against Pep. And the bet was that Arteta calls Pep and be like, I'm going to win the Premier League. And Pep's like, if you don't win it, you have to sign Havertz. And that's exactly what happened. So there you go. Now we have Havertz with 65 million pounds in debt over a bet.
Yeah, 65 million pounds and 280 bags a week is a hell of a bet. That's brutal. That's a brutal bet.
That is crazy. That is absolutely like Havertz. I still can't get over it. I still can't believe it.
We had that funeral on your channel before that.
We did.
Before the ink was even on the paper, we were having the funeral.
Like, why? It doesn't.
I can understand the concept, Flawless, right? Before you go on, I can understand the concept in terms of having a midfielder / striker. For example, one of the main reasons being that if you are to take out multiple people in the midfield or striker, you can then keep that player, move him up top, and then get more numbers in midfield. However, there is only certain few people that can do such tasks, and Havertz is not one of them. Just leave it there.
He's just not. It was just a poor signing. It just made no sense. When you look at the Arsenal side, like before you made all your signings in the summer, you go, all right, you need this, and that. Why sign Havertz? Like, just watch him. Mm-hmm. But again, it's just hope. Mm-hmm. And it's just backing, like, back your manager, back your team. I hear it, but don't do it blindly, especially with players you've watched yourself. Like, players, I say this all the time, players from other leagues, I hear that. So if you sign someone from Spain, if someone comes in from Italy, if it's Portugal, if it's France, fair enough, you're not watching them week out. You're probably watching them Europe, Champions League, maybe Europa League, etc. But Havertz, we've watched. We've all watched. You know what I'm saying? Like, for however many years, people say, oh, you can get the Bayer Leverkusen, Kai Havertz. When was he he was at Bayer Leverkusen when? 2019. We're in 2023.
Why can't we get the Chelsea one?
Yeah, you don't want the Chelsea one. That's why Chelsea fans were ecstatic about getting rid of him. Chelsea fans were ecstatic about getting rid of him. Talk to Chelsea fans about him. Like, the vast majority will tell you, oh, good riddance, so glad. Like,
no return policy.
No return policy. They can't get over there. I couldn't believe it. When you lot went in for him, I was like,
I had Sofa saying to me, thank you on Pro Clubs. Yes. Like, thank you.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying? For taking him. I appreciate it.
And I asked Goonie and I asked Lewis if they would take him back for free. I'll pay for the shipping. And they're like, nope. Goonie asked for Saka and Martinelli. And
see, there we go. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Big up to to Jabtastic TV. Fire name, by the way. Just want to tell you that, my guy. It's his first time here. Big up Flawless. We need to start a new movement. High IQ players only. Why did the United stand protect Bruno at all costs? The guys trash. They act like we don't have eyes. Big up. Big up to you. Good to see new people in the chat, as always. In regards to the new movement, is because you mentioned it here, like, there's too many stands. Like, you can be a fan of a player, but what the problem is, there's legit too many stands when it comes to footballers. And it's like Bruno, finally now the penny has dropped. Because I've seen even the people who defended him the strongest and were like adamant he was a quality player, that's gone quiet. And it's took this long, where he's been playing like this, but now because everybody else is not playing well, because we are getting bad results, because the manager isn't operating at a high level, people are now seeing like, oh, you know what? Bruno's not that good. This has been him. Like last season and this season isn't too far away. Yes, he has his good moments, but he has more bad moments from an overall perspective. And in regards to high IQ players only, that's on the manager. Like legit, that's what it is, Jabtastic. Like the manager needs to go and get better players. That's why I was against some players we signed. That's why I'm for some players we signed. So I don't think it's a question of a movement, because I don't think they don't pay attention to us anyway. And I don't want to. I don't want them to. Because some of our fans, as we see, you're mentioning it here, do we want these same people who rate Bruno as part of any movement to bring new players to the club? No. Say all the time, people like, oh, I love to see like fans be involved in club decisions. No. Please, no. We'd be in League 2. You know what I'm saying? Within 3 years. And I include myself. Keep fans well away from any decision making at the football club, because there's too much emotion involved. Like some of these lot would have Scott McTominay captain. Like, we don't need that. No. Like, go and hire the best possible, the people who, one, are not emotionally invested, and two, actually have some form of resume in regards to doing their jobs. How about, like, they're paid very, very well to do an extremely tough job. Like, go and get those people to do certain things. So yeah, but I hear you in regards to people just want to lie to themselves. Like, people will still tell you that Bruno's the guy to take us to the top. Look at the start of our season. Look at last season. Like, how much more evidence do you need? But people just gonna lie to themselves. Like people in relationships, when their partner ain't shit.
Flawless,
yeah, go on.
Would you get a replacement next season, or if it was?
I wouldn't start. It's not necessarily of getting a replacement. Do I believe there's a place for him in the squad? Yes, I've said this. And people are surprised because other people who criticize Bruno, because I've had it on here and people have been like, oh, you don't rate Bruno, you'd get rid of him. No, I think there's a place in the squad for him, for someone of his attributes. Said it before, I say it again. He's the new age Park Ji-sung. And when I say that, not in terms of skill level, Eddie says it all the time. He's a tryhard. There's definitely space in a 25, 26-man squad for tryhards. He's a great stopper. If you are trying to be a spoiler and stop a fullback, say we play in Arsenal and you want Zinchenko to stop inverting, Bruno is the perfect guy to do that job. Energetic, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't run out of stamina, you know what I'm saying? Can just harry and press and all those type of things. He's perfect for that. If we're playing Chelsea away and you want to stop Enzo picking up the ball and getting on it, guess what? That's a role for Bruno. He did it. One of his best games, I say all the time, away at Barcelona, where he played right wing, and it was to stop Balde getting forward, to stop the fullback getting forward. Like, he's exceptional like that. But then when that's in set cases, most of the time when you're trying to be dominant and on the ball, I ain't trying to see Bruno. Would I eventually phase him out? Yes. I think you could actually get a big fee for him, because his numbers will gas up some club. And some manager will say, you know what? Same way we sign Mount and you lot sign Havertz, someone will sign him off his numbers for big money. And then you can go and get replacements. I said it all summer long. We should have got Maddison. People tried to tell me. I had that actual debate. People told me, oh, Bruno's better than Maddison. Quiet now. 8 games in, 2 months. Don't hear that no more. You know what I'm saying? And he's not playing with elite attackers at Spurs. Kulusevski's good. All right, Son's top quality, but then you got Richarlison, Brandon Johnson, who they signed from Forest. They're not in the league, because people will blame our attacks on Bruno, our attackers not performing. People will say, oh, Bruno's not getting the best because of our attack. Look at Spurs attack. You think if you put Bruno in that Spurs side, he's doing what Maddison's doing? Hell no. Not a chance. Come on, man. But again, because he was at Leicester and they got relegated, people only see that. Oh, they got relegated, so that means all the players are bad. Like Manchester United's greatest ever captain in Premier League history didn't get relegated the season before we signed him. But people don't do their research. I'm saying there's someone who I've said that to and they're like, who? I said, do your research and you'll see. Our greatest ever captain, most successful, led us to a treble, got relegated the season before he signed him. What are we talking about? Bear in mind, he was younger, but if social media was a background then, people would have used that. Bear in mind, he was a record fee at the time. He was a record fee at that time during the 90s. But too many agendas, too many stands, you know what I'm saying, of fans rather than the actual club itself. Like, I'm a Manchester United FC stan. I don't stand no player. Casemiro, my favorite player. He needs to be dropped. Said this. I'm saying, love Sancho, one of my favorite players at the club. Should have sold him in the summer. And now we've done it all messy, and it's all our businesses on Front Street, all across socials. And now we're finally going to move him on in January, which is the correct move, I think, for all parties involved. But why not just do it in the summer? Why did the breakup have to get messy for us to go? Now his wages ain't a problem. They're going to find a way to move him on. And I think everyone's happy with that in regards to Sancho's happy with the resolution, as is Ten Hag. So everybody wins. But again, these are people who just don't do... It just shows how incompetent we are. Because I don't get why it's took till January to realize, oh, you know what? Let's move on Sancho. Move him on in the summer. How are we doing here? But who knows, man?
Do you think this is like a in-house? Do you think this is like an in-house thing? Because you would put Alexis Sanchez coming to you similar to your Sancho deal, in regards to having all that brilliance and quality and not performing to the standards that you require. So
I think it's
is it a thing?
I think it's multiple things. Like, for instance, with Sancho, we chased him for 2 years and then had no plan when he got here. But that's just typical Ollie. We chased him for 2 years. And then when he signed him, there was no idea on how to use him. He just signed him because it was Sancho. He's English, talented, and he was a name. And he was doing well. But there was no idea. That's why when he got here, we played him right wing. We played him left wing. There was no way of, that this is the system Sancho's going to fit in here. Because I thought we had a plan for him, and we clearly didn't when we signed him, and you've seen that under Ollie. And then you realize the way the game is going as well, that Sancho is definitely not a Premier League winger. Premier League wingers are pace and power. There's no successful Premier League winger to any level, I'd say in the top, let's say the top 8, who is not pace and power. The only one that succeeded here was Mahrez. He's the only one in the past 5 years, and he's one of the best right wingers we've ever seen in the league. Like, he's in top 10 right wingers of all time. He's probably in the 6 to 10 bracket, but that shows the level. Even when you look at, if you take the top 6 out and you look at the rest of the best wingers in the league from 6th place to 10th or 7th to 10th, like a Matoma, for example, pace and power. What are we doing here? When you look at Newcastle, when you look at Almiron, for example, who had his run, when you look at Harvey Barnes, who they signed, they're all of the same profile. And that's not Sancho's game. Sancho's not running away from anyone. Doesn't mean he's not talented, because I think he's supremely talented. But you have to play him central. And how can I watch and figure out that out when Manchester United can't figure that out? And then when we're signing Amrabat, we're signing Mount, we're signing Højlund. All right, he's not going to play central. So why are we keeping him for? Because you can still get money for him. That's the thing. He still has, because of the age he's at, you can still get resale value. And it's not like a Ronaldo or De Gea situation where man's only option is Saudi or his option is unemployment. Somebody's going to pick him up because he's still of a level. Because he's 22, I think, 23, something like that. But hey, we move, man. Because AJ says, question, please, fellas, would your club sell us Jaden for the right price? Because honestly, I think he could work here. You're an Arsenal fan, AJ.
Yeah, he is.
Would they?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Would you not take him? Maybe we would. I don't know.
The kid, the talent is there. We're not going to deny it. The talent is there. But we're going to have similar to what we already babysitting one with Kai Havertz. So we can't babysit 2. That's too much. You know, we can only look after one kid for now, and we move over to the next one. From right now, I think, no, we can't.
No, we can't babysit him, and we're fine in those positions, in my opinion. It's other positions where we're really screaming out for depth. So yeah, I
still
agree.
have Marquinhos out on loan, TJ. We still have Marquinhos who can potentially come back. The kid, you know, he's so mature for his age that I'm someone that I don't really, you know, give a lot of Arsenal players a lot of props unless, you know, I see something. And with him, I can see it. With the eye test, there's something about this kid that can, if we manage him right, we can get the best out of him.
Yeah,
No, I agree.
That's fair, yeah, because the talent is there. It's just a question of I don't think unless you're playing him central, he's going to be successful in the Premier League. However, I think let's say he went back to Borussia Dortmund, say he went to Spain, say he went to Italy, I think he'd do just fine. That's when people are doing too much. People are writing him, oh, he's terrible and he won't be successful. No, like Sancho's still talented. He's still young enough, and he's at the age, pardon me, where he can improve and get better. He just needs game time. He's game time in a set position in a set team because we haven't seen that. Like, don't get me wrong, though, people. Like, has he done enough at Manchester United? No, but go back and check the live streams all summer long where I was like, move him on. It's not going to work. He's not what is required. And then we kept him. The issues happened. And now all of a sudden we're going to do in January what we should have done in the summer. But again, that's Manchester United for you, just doing pure stupidness. Like, for real. And yeah, Warrior J, you was there. I know you already mentioned fans saying Bruno better than Maddison a lot in live streams, but hearing that opinion is ridiculous. I remember that. That was a genuine conversation over the summer. Now nobody says nothing. People act like that wasn't a conversation because we know in 2 months, Maddison's put that to bed. And he's not in the best Spurs side. It's not like that Spurs side is absolutely brilliant. Like, no. But he's helping them do what needs to be done.
We were talking about this from, I believe, May. Before the window opened, we asked each other that question as to who would we sign, and the first person that came up for us was Maddison, and we said, how much would it be around Corsi? Like 50 million. How much did Tottenham buy him for?
It was 40 M's.
Roughly around. So that extra 10,
30.
Jesus Christ. And here we are playing Rubik's Cube, trying to figure out what's the best formula when we had a formula last year that works, and now we implemented another formula to make a new formula. What we like, power up goals? I don't get it. Like, we all over the place. But we keep it simple. When you say, for example, you want to add the likes of Sancho or players who needs games to grow their confidence, we as Arsenal are not in a position. Arsenal fans tend to do this quite often. If you ask Arsenal fans, would you bring back Santi Cazorla right now? They would say yes. If you bring back one of their favorites, they would just say yes. Gnabry, all of that. Sometimes it's gone. Just get over it. Start, look for someone else, maybe similar qualities or whatever, and get over and move on.
People were losing it when Alexis was asking to come back over the summer. They're like, yeah, we could use him. I'm like,
nostalgia.
It's nostalgia test. It's just like, it's not 2014 anymore, people. Like,
that's another thing when you sign players and people talk about, oh, we can get the best out of him. Why is that a conversation? How about you're the employer, we're the employee? How about what you do for us? That's the thing that annoyed me about. I'm not even going to criticize the performances about Mount. The whole conversation surrounding Mount was, oh, Manchester United can get the most out of him in the system if you get him back to how he played for Chelsea when they won the Champions League. I was like, hold up a minute. Why are we need to fix you up? How about you help us? How about you're being signed by Manchester United? Like I said, you're the employer, you're the employee, we're the employer. How about you help us? Why is it what Manchester United can do for Mason Mount and not what Mason Mount can do for Manchester United? Because when we signed Casemiro, that was not the conversation. When we signed Martinez, that's not been the conversation. Even though we've been poor, Højlund's added. It's not, oh, what can Manchester United do for Højlund? No, look at what Højlund's done for us. It's outrageous the way people talk. Like, that tells you where players are at. It's ridiculous. It is. And speaking of that, actually, players who switching lanes, a player who's been getting a lot of plaudits, in particular from your game against Manchester City, Saliba. We'll go to you first, TJ. What are you saying on his performance and his ceiling as well? Because I do see him getting a lot of plaudits and people talking about one of the best centre-backs. Like I said, his performance against Haaland was very, very good. Seems to have it all as a young centre-back. So thoughts?
I think he has the potential to be world class. I've said that before. I'll say it again. Do I think he is world class right now? No. I think there's still some, he still needs to win things. I still think he struggles to get into the France squad. Obviously you can argue that Deschamps doesn't rotate correctly there. You can argue that, Koundé or anybody else can get in over him, blah, 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 blah. But in terms of in the context of the Man City game, yeah, he was absolutely phenomenal. I thought Gabriel was just as phenomenal. I thought our center back pairing there was great, you know, and Saliba, I think Saliba plays off Gabriel and Gabriel plays off Saliba. I think you take one of them out of there, you start to struggle on that back line. And we saw it a little bit at the beginning of the season when they were benching Gabriel and putting to put Partey in at right back. So I think that Saliba is obviously one of the best center backs in the Prem. He is he is if not our best player, I would say top 3 best players right now. He is absolutely incredible. You can't say enough good things about him. I mean, and you're putting in the right players around him. You're putting Rice in front of him. You're putting Gabriel next to him and Ben White on the right, which I don't think I said this on Sunday. I said this on Sunday and I'll say it again. I don't think Ben White is getting enough credit. I really don't think he's getting enough credit, man. No, and I'm not trying to deflect from the Saliba conversation.
No, that's cool.
Conversation is great, but man, Ben White overlapping on the right, he was an attacking threat, and if he moved too far up the field, he got back. Like it's one of those things where you can say Saliba had a very, very good game, but I think the back line was on an equal footing, because if we're being honest, Manchester City's midfield was absolutely dead and got shut down by our midfield. Holland obviously world-class striker, but if he is not getting the ball, and if he's not getting fed from the midfield, he hasn't shown that he wants to put in the work. And we literally had this conversation on Sunday, but he does not put in the work, or he doesn't quite have that skill set to go pick up the ball in the midfield and take it up. He really does depend on getting fed from the De Bruyne's, from the Silvas to get those goals. And you see that he's struggling without Rodri, without De Bruyne in that midfield. So I think that did have a little bit something to do with it, but I've been saying it before. I'll say it again. So regardless of that context, Saliba's an absolute Rolls Royce. I think he's only had the only bad game that he's had this season was against Lens. The rest of the time he's putting in 7.5, 8 out of 10 performances. He's absolutely incredible.
Absolutely incredible. Grim with Saliba. Thoughts on him?
Yeah.
So I remember when Emery got Saliba, right? And we were looking at him, and then we weren't starting him. I was like, "Yo, we need to start this kid. This kid is like brilliant," because I'm a France supporter, so I tend to watch the league quite often as well. And I was looking at him, and the stats say he was pulling up, and one of the games that really caught my attention was him versus Mbappe. And I said, this kid will be something special. And I sort of like knew he was going to be that type of player based off what I saw. But we also need to, as TJ said, the pairing, when the pairing is not there, it does affect his play. He does need to adjust. And Gabriel deserves flowers so much, because Gabriel is also in contention for one of the best centre backs in the Premier League, and a lot of people don't give him that credit due to the fact that he makes those errors every now and then. The bozo gene, like they like to call it.
Yep.
All right. So keeping it on Saliba, definitely. I would say he can only get better, and with him just signing the contract, and him being an Arsenal fan, it's just good news for us. Now, James, you said something about Ben White, which Ben White, oof, I'm not too sure. Ben White, yes, he has put a good performance. He's played well, but eventually this makeshift centre-back playing right back will hunt us later on down in the Champions League, the latter stages, where we have better wingers or someone with a little bit more pace. Don't get me wrong, he did stop Doku on the weekend, and he did play. He played the nutmeg was lovely. That was a very good play from him.
Doku just put in a shocker. Zinchenko made Doku look bad. Like, that's how bad of a game Doku had. Doku was bad.
And I rate Doku quite highly.
I do too. I do too. He
that.
just had a really bad game. I think he had a really
He
bad
had
game.
once. So with Ben White, yes, he's done a shift. I would say that, but TJ, I believe it's time we look for a out and out right back. Are
I
we
think we need an out and out
keeping
left
Ben
back.
White?
Or we need an out and out right back.
I think we need both, in my opinion. But I'm happy with I wanna analyze the Timber injury because he's also another Arsenal fan as well. And Flo, as you said earlier, what do you give for the team, right? And with players like Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, they all love Arsenal. They've come out numerous times and expressed their emotions to the club and how much they appreciate being there. So with having those players, I believe that we need to that right back. I feel once we get a solid out and out right back, our defense will be complete, in my opinion. But
who would
Ben
you
White is
have?
good.
Who would you want to bring in? Do you know?
You see, with the right back side of things, I don't have a name per se because I've watched everyone and the levels that I set for myself, TJ, in terms of game. I don't just want a 7 or 7.5, at least an 8 to 8.5 every other game. And the players that I've seen are not doing those numbers on the right back. Even Kyle Walker at his age is still renowned as one of the best right back. And then there are people that are younger than him. So we got to look at ourselves. There isn't much of a solid in that position. And maybe that's why the manager is doing an inverted role in that position. And we're not even going to mention Partey going right back. That's taboo.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that again.
Don't ever bring that around me ever. No. And no, and I ask because it's like, look, I know we're not gonna get a Kyle Walker is a generational talent. Like you're not gonna get a Kyle Walker at right back. So like trying to I honestly think that the Kyle Walkers and the Kieran Trippiers are extremely rare, right? So I can't ask for much more solid than Ben White at this point. And I think we just have other priorities, especially since Timber went down. I was so gassed on Timber, man, especially with how well he did playing at left back in the Community Shield. I saw a strong back four before he picked up that injury against Nottingham Forest. So I just think our priorities are a little bit different. But if the quality is there, like I said, they like Flawless said earlier, they're all employees. Like if we had a chance to sell, Martinelli for Mbappe and people, I'm not getting emotional. Give me Mbappe right now.
Give me Mbappe.
Like I'm not emotional about it. Give me the best players in the world. So that badge right over my shoulder is lifting up gold. Like, what are we doing here?
What are we doing?
No emotions. No emotions. Win. No emotions. Win.
Yeah. No, you right. Like it's a question of that. Big up Sheik as well. I see you in the chat. Says big up the chat and the panel. And bump up the likes. Over 55 of you lot in here. Only at 31 likes. Like check 1212. A mods. Please get everybody hitting the like button. Get everybody subscribing to the channel. Let's go up to 50 likes. We're at 8,322. 3 more subscribers. Whether you're watching live or watching this back, get us to 8,325. Subscribe to TJ's channel as well. TJ Warren TV. The link is underneath in the description for his channel as well, and continue to get your questions in. And I'm just starring, like I said, I've been starring all the best questions, so I'll get to them. Don't worry about that. I'll get to all the ones I kind of should say. Unbiased TV says, question for the panel: which players should we, so we put Arsenal, so obviously this is for TJ and Grim, should we sign to get us over the line? He said, I'd love to see Neto and Tony at Arsenal. Also, we could sign Guehi as backup and also Paulino. So he's saying Neto, Tony, Paulino, and Guehi. Hey, that's a great four. It's a great quartet. I can't lie. TJ, floor's yours, and then we'll go to.
I think that we got to remember who we're dealing with here. We're dealing with Edu and Mikel Arteta. Okay, I would love all 4 of those guys, but you put we're supposed to be signing Caicedo and Rice over the summer, and the fact that we got Rice to the door for me was shocking. I don't think I think it really is going to depend on where we're at in January in the league table to see if these guys are going to spend. I mean, Ivan Toney is a minimum, but if we are truly in a position to win the league, then I would love to see Neto. I don't think he's going to happen, but Polina is a shout. I really do like what Polina brings. But it's one of those things where when you ask, should we sign to get us over the line? I want to see all four. Minimum, it has to be Toney. Minimum has to be Toney. Right. But I think if we're talking about Neto, who is also linked to Liverpool, and we're talking about Guehi, which I honestly don't think is going to happen, and Polina, which I think would be a little bit more serious. I would say, I mean, should yes, will no is essentially my answer. So we will sign Toney, maybe Neto, maybe Polina. I don't see us signing Guehi, but that's just my opinion. What do you got?
The trio would be great. What are you saying, Grim?
The manager. I'm trying to look into the manager's eyes, and TJ, are you aware that our manager are not good in managing strikers? You're aware of that, right?
You mean
he hasn't got.
He didn't manage Aubameyang well. Tell me something shocking.
He didn't manage Aubameyang well. I don't.
Did he not get it right with Aubameyang though?
Like in terms
I don't think he. No, okay, he saw Aubameyang's loss be a juice. The last quality from Aubameyang, that's what he saw. And then after, when Aubameyang is someone who has a lot of personality and character, and that is what Arteta was getting rid of at the time. Now, I bring this up because you have Aubameyang, you got Nketiah, which has been trying, and you have.
I don't blame Arteta for the fact that Nketiah is brutal.
He gave him the hunch. He gave him the new contract. He went to him, TJ, and said that I want you to stay. He was the one that said that. So it is his decision, and he has to take accountability for that. Now, when you look at Jesus as well, I don't believe he's brought his best qualities out as well. If you look at Saka and Martinelli, you could say it was from the previous managers, because I do give people their credit once they brought those players in. Emery was the one who's brought those players in, and yes, Arteta has taken them to the next level in terms of the wingers. But when I look at it, if I look at Arsenal's team, TJ, I would say to myself that if Arteta can start, let's say 9 or 10 midfielders, he will do it, because that's how he wants to play. Hold the ball as much as you can and go side to side from the opponent's box. Not last season, the season before that was frustrating to watch. And I'm seeing similarities this season due to the fact of the new players that we got in the midfield and some players been out injured. So
can I ask you a question? I got a follow-up question for you. Go ahead. No, finish your point. Sorry about that.
Yes, we that's all right. Yes, we do. We can get Ivan Toney, but is Arteta going to take him to that next level based on the type of football that he plays?
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my question for you, is that because we know Ivan Toney has a personality, right? Is he going to bend the knee essentially to Arteta, because Arteta is a regime, right? Mikel Arteta is almost bigger than the club sometimes, right? He rules with an iron fist. I don't think anybody can question that. So is somebody with Ivan Toney's personality gonna fit in well with Arteta? Like this guy goes, like, for example, like Ivan Toney goes on social media and muds Brentford whenever he has a few drinks in him. He just opens his mouth.
He said, when he said, like, I think he was on holiday. He was like,
football. I play for Brentford, whatever, some town. And do you think that kind of personality or that kind of, yeah, that kind of person in the dressing room is going to rub Mikel Arteta the wrong way, because it obviously did with Aubameyang. So, want to get your thoughts on that.
It did with a lot of players, not just Aubameyang. Aubameyang also, they got rid of that whole group, and it was based on personality. I even believe if we had Alexis Sanchez, Arteta would have had a problem because of the personality. Arteta wants to be the main guy, yes, and sort of like, okay, look, I'm giving you this opportunity to go out there and show me what you can do. But at the same time, those players are even looking and saying to themselves that, hold up, wait a minute, you telling me to perform at this level? What was you doing in the Premier League, or the times that you were trying to play for England? It's a lot. There's a lot of egos, and yes, he's keeping them on wraps right now, but that's due to their age in a lot of the players that we have. And his track record shows that he does not do well with players that has, I would say, egos or big character or personality to them.
And just before you carry on as well, hey, Warrior J, I know you said you have to go, big up to you. And you said, wouldn't mind if I recommend another mod. If you have enough mods, that's cool, but I'd recommend AJ. Because you're the guy, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to mods, Warrior J. Yes, I will make AJ buy him, I add him as a mod. Because if you're saying someone's a good mod, they're definitely a good mod. So your recommendation, yes, definitely, Warrior J. I trust you on that. But yeah, go on, carry on. Yes, AJ, I'm about to make you a mod. Yeah, go on, carry on, Grim.
Yeah, so I think what the main thing that we have to look at, we have to get players that are saying, yes, I know what the manager wants me to do, but it's my time to shine. And I do put my hand up and say this, Ivan Toney is that type of character to do that. And when it comes to whether it be from the penalty spot or taking a shot outside the box when there's nothing open, and with him getting a lot more chances, a lot of the times we say to ourselves that we get those players and it will automatically work. But there's a lot of, with his character, I would say, I think he would suit, if Ivan Toney wants to come in, right, and play for Arsenal, I believe him and Martinelli would have a better partnership on that side than him and Saka, based off the way they play. And one of the reasons why I say that is because when you look at Ivan Toney, when he has the ball, it's sort of like, okay, give me the ball, I will make the run. Now Saka already does that. Now, yes, Martinelli do that too, but not Martinelli is more of I'll give you the ball and then I will make the run for you and give it back to you. Where Saka's giving the ball, I'll try to make the space into the box. Now, will Saka square it and give it to him for easy tapping? Yes, but I believe on that side will be more of a stronger point. Now, I honestly believe that getting Ivan Toney is a plus, but we also need to look at the right side as well. And maybe if do we need to go in-house in terms of using Rhys Nelson? Because I rate him highly. I believe this kid has bags of potential and can do really well for us. Every time he comes on, he shows the urge that he wants to show and show the manager that I want to be here and this is why I want to be here, because he recently got a contract himself. So are we going to use him? Yes, we have all these players, this idea of I want this player, this caliber player, whatever. But what do we have in-house? This is why we have academy people. Yeah, this is why we assess what we have in their academy and see what makes sense. Eddie Nketiah is an academy player, also a Chelsea reject, but we're not going to go into that. So when you look at so that's real. When you look at that, we need players, I would say, that would complement the wingers that we have, because when you look at the modern age football, wingers tend to be the ones that that gets all the praise compared to like strikers back in the days. It's like wingers, if you're a winger, then you have more of a chance as a striker, so to speak. So as the wingers are quite young, I would say we need to utilize that on getting someone like an Ivan Toney. That is correct, but I don't want that to just be our main focus. I want it to be where it's an option A with an option B just behind it.
Okay, first. No, that's fair enough, Grim. I hear exactly what you're saying in regards to that. I hear you. And yeah, AJ, I'm trying to add you as a mod, but it's not working for some reason. But next time I'll try it. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to add you as a mod, but I'll continue during the show. Westbrook is going. Good to see you, Jez. I see you trolling in the chat per usual. Shout out to Jez. Big up to all the new people as well. That's just typical Jez, isn't it? Like President Troll in Sarcasm City, man. It's typical of Jez, man. He
funny.
is. You know what Jez is like? The guy always be cracking me up. Get us up to 50 likes, people, because only at 35 likes. Like check 1212. Get your final few questions in before we close out in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Again, subscribe to TJ Warren TV. That's TJ's channel on the YouTube channel. Obviously, recently just went over 500 subscribers. I'm right in saying that. I did see the live stream popped up, so congrats on that as well.
Thanks,
I seen you do the 500 subscriber party. Yeah, man. Like milestones, all milestones are important, man.
Sure.
You feel me? So yeah, celebrate that.
Sure.
100%. It's not even easy getting up to 500 subscribers. So yeah, man, you're doing your thing. 100%. Westbrook is going. I see you as well. And someone mentioned it. I don't think I started, but obviously your next game after the break, Chelsea away. We'll go to you first, Grim. Chelsea away. With Chelsea's form, even though they have turned it around in recent times, you are the better side. But are you looking at that and going, yeah, we should win this, really? Like, or are you saying it's going to be tough?
Yeah, we should. No, we should win this. No, we should win this. If Arsenal do not walk away with 3 points, it's on the back end of what we did against City. Not only what we did against City, but the standards which Chelsea have set for themselves and the ones we've set for ourselves. We have to, no draw, no loss, just a win. We have to get a win on that one. And with the players just coming back from injury, when you have the likes of Martinelli, Partey, just coming back into the game, I'm expecting for us to go there and dominate, to be honest, because to be fair, London Cowboys, it's not that time for you this year. Sorry.
Fairs, where you at with it, TJ, in regards? And that being said, what I am going to do going forward as well, and salute to TJ, because it was him who actually came up with it in the comment section. And then I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. So what I'm going to do is when it is Big Six games, people, I'll do the previews on Friday. So if Manchester United are involved, I'll probably have me and Eddie and just have that Man United podcast versus whoever and have it, whether it's 1-on-1s, whether it's 2-on-2s, etc. So like Arsenal, Chelsea, I make sure TJ's on, and then I'll probably get maybe a Grim or someone else, have a couple of the Chelsea boys on as well, so we'll do previews for them Big Six games. But yeah, TJ, your thoughts? Obviously, going playing against Chelsea against the Bridge on a return. Once the Premier League does return,
I am not looking past it. To be honest, I think that we are capable of dropping stinkers. Obviously, you saw that against Fulham. I said this last week, and I'll say it again. I'm not going to get too excited. I'm not going to get too excited about it because then I got to come back here and watch Alam's smiling face laugh at me. So I'm not going to say we're going to win 4-1. I'm not going to say that. They are still Chelsea. They do have try to hold on to some sort of pride. I think we will get a 2 or 3-1, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it's a 4-1. And they are starting to pick up a little bit of form under Pochettino. So I'm very, very confident, and I will be fuming if we drop points. I'll be fuming because if we are truly going to be, going for this title like a lot of top gooners and super fans are saying, then we shouldn't be dropping points at Stamford Bridge. Plus, Arteta doesn't really lose there. I don't think Arteta's. When I read a crazy stat, what is that? We've won there like 5 times in a row, or gotten.
Yeah, something like that. You've had a very good record recently against them.
So yeah. Am I looking past it? No, because we are perfectly capable, Arsenal Football Club, of putting in an absolute stinker away, like in games that we should win. So and watch Grim, watch Kai Havertz start this game because of emotions and vibes going back to Chelsea. Watch him start.
I think Kai Havertz started just for ultimate chaos. I'm not gonna lie.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying?
In regards to the whole Kai Havertz thing, right? I want to put more of why didn't Arteta, right, just put Partey in that position? He doesn't have to do much. He doesn't have to track back. We already know he's a good. He can get the ball back, and you will get the best out of it because again, he's not doing much in that position, and you can get more games out of him. Anyway, it just doesn't make sense to me as to why we experimenting so much on a formula which was working so well last season. Yes, we fell off, but that's due to our own downfalls in relying on a one man to do the job for us on the duration throughout the whole season. I don't get this thing where Arsenal does not want to have the one or two players in
No,
rotation for the squad. Go on, Jay.
no, I agree. I mean, and you can argue then stop me if you've heard me say this before, but you can argue that we haven't played our best midfield. I mean, you can honestly, I think you could put Rice or Party up there. Like if you wanted to put him in a number
That's
number
correct.
8 or even
I agree.
even in a double pivot for CDM, like that's a lot of people are going to say that's extremely defensive and not very not very positive, but you don't win, you don't lose by, or you don't win by conceding is what I'm saying. So you got to play that that if those three are healthy and you're in a must-win game where rotation isn't a factor, you have to play them. But we haven't seen it so far. So that's why I'm thinking, like, in the back of my head, I'm like, I think this club has another gear, because we do in fact have those guys. We do in fact have that midfield three, which if they are playing their best football is the best arguably the best midfield in the Premier League. If you are,
I do agree, because I say this because when you look, we are not playing our best and we are getting the results, right?
Right.
So when we do play our best, I can see promising signs. But however, I think we just need to stop all of this what we're going to do and just play our strongest three, like you said, which is Odegaard, Rice, and Partey. And if you don't want to go with a Partey or someone which is a little bit more mobile, it is another player that a lot of people don't tend to talk about nowadays is Smith Rowe. Like what's going on with him? Smith Rowe has a tattoo in Spanish saying trust the process. Like
no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
He does.
That's not the case.
No, he doesn't.
You're lying, man.
It does.
You're
Okay,
lying,
you guys need to go check this out. You guys need to go check this out. You guys, the chat.
I was reading this morning
pull up for me, bro. The chat needs to come in clutch for me. The chat needs to come in clutch for me.
Some AI thing going in now.
That's crazy. And just want to shout out Monts as well. Make sure you subscribe to Big Six Mans. Obviously, on the Mandem United podcast earlier, I had Corey on, but shout out to Monts, Corey, the whole Big Six Mans gang. Make sure you check it out. He said, burnt myself out doing too many streams. That's the game, man. You know what I'm saying to that? Sometimes you running on low like it's FIFA, man. You're in the red. Like, that's what it is. Been there. You know what I'm saying? Been there. Sometimes stay there. Like, gotta get to the work, man. You know what I'm saying? The content creator, it's a 24-hour news cycle. It does not stop. It's like Manchester United ownership news or just Manchester United news. Don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta, it keeps, like, social media, man. Social media never stops people. That's what content creator space is like. Big up to Andy MU for the super chat. Much appreciated, my guy. Says, big up Flawless, always love, always Andy, man. He says, big up to TJ. And he says, question to TJ. Did his prediction for where Arsenal finish change after beating City? Same question to Grim too. Big up for the super chat, Andy. Yeah, and I let TJ and Grim answer that question as well. So yeah, has the victory against Manchester City changed your mind in regards to where you see Arsenal finishing, TJ?
No, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't.
If it goes back in 25 minutes or probably half an hour, we would have seen the answer to that. Like we said, no,
I think he was slightly late. Yeah, he was slightly late. That's what it was.
You're a little late. Like, yeah, and I'll just to add on just a little bit, man. I just think that Manchester City and Liverpool are looking very, very good. So there are a lot of factors that you gotta weigh on. I do think Tottenham are eventually going to fall off. That's not me being a rival. That's me being realistic. So that's my answer. But yeah, go back to the beginning of the stream and we kind of gave an answer on that one. But big up Andy. Big up.
Same to you, Grim, as well, in regards to as it changed. Where do you actually have Arsenal finishing in the Premier League?
I would go with a top 4.
Okay. Anywhere in particular in the top 4? I'm guessing it's from second to third. Second, fourth, third. I'm guessing one of those two.
You see now, the love for my club right now is kicking in. Right?
You see now. Go on.
And everyone would love for the club to win the Premier League. Right? Now, that's what I want the target to be. I believe if we do not get the some cup this season for this. Like it needs to make sense to me. Like we've won the FA Cup too many times. We need to go to that next level. Honestly, like come on. If we don't win a Premier League or a Champions League, it's long. Now wait a minute. I'm not saying we're going to win that Champions League because come on, have you seen us in Europe? You saw us like
Yeah.
yeah. Thursday nights, cold nights, yeah, Stoke, all that jazz. You know, I'm saying to you that I would say they would. I believe I can see Arsenal doing it like a second again, second to third, based off what I'm seeing so far.
That's right.
If it goes to where it is, I'm expecting. I said to a friend of mine's back. I said, with City going in for the quads, they are going to tire down, and we've seen with a lot of those clubs that have won all of the trophies. If you look at Barcelona as well, you know, from Expendables, all you know, the list goes on. So when you look at it, is City in first gear? Will they go to second gear? I honestly believe our rival should just be City. Everyone is mentioning Liverpool and all that.
You don't fear Liverpool, then is what you're saying? You don't fear them, no?
Nah, I don't, because when I look at
Let's go. Hey, Liverpool, hold that.
Liverpool, yes, the midfield is quality. Yeah, yes, they do have some quality, but they still need time to assess what they're going to do, and it won't take. It will take January for them to speak to Mo Salah again for you know, things to change within the dressing room, or you know, anything for us. Like it could be once the window is open. It's a funny thing. Now, when you look at Liverpool now, Claude, I'm saying there's a lot of the strikers are still, you know, trying to find their feet. Mo Salah is Mo Salah. I give him credit. You know, every season he just always seems to perform on that high level, but I can still see a lot of errors within the midfield, the build-up play. And when I look at Allison, not Allison, and sorry, I apologize. Midfield for Liverpool.
Oh, who you talking about? Who you talking about? Which midfielder?
Brighton. What's his name?
Oh, you're talking about McAllister.
Yeah, McAllister.
That's you're talking about McAllister. Yeah. And that's all good, fam. We have the saying it's late. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
With him, I would say that they are relying on him to do a job that is not him, which is being more of a defensive-minded type of player, which I believe is more of a making games tick, like, you know, giving the ball and I'll control the type of the play of the game. And when I look at it and I say to myself, they're still trying to question what works and what doesn't work. And with Liverpool, they similar to us. I need to see more before I can say, okay, yes, they're back, or they've done this or that. Everyone is talking like, you know, Liverpool are like 20 points in, you know, more than anyone. Now it's just only 8 games. Yes, they've done better than what they had previous, but you also have to look at Liverpool. That form was coming from the end of the season to now. So when I look at it, I say to myself that, okay, cool. Is it something that's going to last, or is it just a phase? Time will tell. But I can't. Nah, it has to be Man City. It has to be Man City. That's at the top of my target list.
So I'm guessing you have like you lot second and Liverpool third. Am I correct in saying that, Grim?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I would say that.
That seems to be what it is. Like when you talk to Liverpool fans, it seems to be that they'll say City first, then Liverpool, then Arsenal, and then you talk to Arsenal fans, it's the flip when you say Arsenal and Liverpool, which I hear. I do think, unfortunately, that you three are the best 3 teams in the league.
But yeah, I don't get that as well, because they would tag me in as well, Flores, saying that just because you beat City don't mean you're going to win the league. I can't get it. Like, make it make sense. Like, we if we were to use that statement that we beat someone that's won the quad, then we're gonna win the league. Like we can also say that as well. Hypothetical is an amazing thing. We can do this all day, you know. So I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself that second with it has to be, if I'm getting second, it has to be a Champions League. If I'm not getting the Champions League, then it has to be the Premier League, one or the other, because this manager again has spent a lot of money. And he's one of the managers, if Wenger did not get all that money to spend, we just about scrape enough to buy Ozil, which is at that time was our high marquee signing. You know, it wasn't even that much compared to nowadays. So when you look at, he is getting, you know, the funds to buy those players, but he has to be he has to be smart about it. He has to be smart about it.
Well, that's fair. That's fair enough. And yeah, AJ, I was gonna say, yeah, you're now a mod. I had to go into the actual settings and make you a mod and everything like that. But yeah, that's pattern. But yeah, both of you two are expecting wins in regards to the game against Chelsea, which I do understand. And you would want that from an Arsenal perspective to kick on. Then obviously you play Sevilla on Tuesday in the Champions League. Confident going into that game, TJ. Obviously, after the loss against Lons, it does make it much more important for you lot to get the win, and it is away at Sevilla as well.
Yeah, I mean, and they just fired their manager too, so it's one of those things where Sevilla is an extremely hard place to play, but they are squarely in the mud. I think they're in a relegation battle in La Liga right now. So, you know, but we should win that game, but should and will are two different things with this club.
Facts.
Especially different, you know, when you're playing away in Europe, it just is what it is. We should slap all three of these teams at home. All three of them, no excuses, by multiple goals. But away, it just gets tricky, man. Away, it's a different thing. You know, Lens are 15th in the French league now.
Yeah, they were 15th, and yeah, they beat you lot 2-1
15th, and relegation side. And PSV again, you know, don't want to disrespect the Eredivisie, but I mean, it's still the Eredivisie. Like, let's be honest, okay? Like, sorry, it just is what it is. You know, you got to respect these guys. But at home, there's no reason why we shouldn't be losing these. But we have to pick up points away. We have to pick up points away if we want to secure a good draw in the groups. You know, in the knockout stages. TJ said, "You're so scared, man. You're thinking like it's like you know."
I think he knows about Arsenal.
Andy, it's a trauma response, bro. Trauma response. We know what time it is when it comes to this club. Like, look, I know I'm a newer fan. I know, like, compared to a lot of people, I know I'm a newer fan. But I've been a sports fan all my life, and I know what it's like to get my heart broken. All right, I'm not going back to that girl. I'm not going back to that girlfriend, bro. I'm not.
Yeah, man, we're not in it. Even though as fire as she is, don't go back, man. Don't go back. No. What are you saying, Grim, in regards to Champions League? Obviously, very important away game because you currently. Let me actually check. Yeah, you're currently second in your group on 3 points, London on 4 points, Sevilla on 2 points, PSV on 1 point. So very important you do get something from this game. But you confident going away to Sevilla or not confident?
We don't even have a good record in Europa, let alone Champions League. Yeah, confidence. Yeah. The way I see it was like every time I look at my club, if we turn up, like if we serious on a good day, I guess that's with every club, right? But when I look at Arsenal, like on a good day, we can beat anyone. It's all based off our own mentality. Is this going to affect us now? Keeping in mind us winning against Man City, like TJ said earlier on, that that's going to boost the morale and confidence. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I really believe that I would say I would go for a win based off our last results and stuff. But there is a potential for something going wrong because Sevilla, yes, they have not been playing well, but I'm sure they coming at the back of a win themselves. So, and they're picking up form. I believe they have 2 wins and a draw in the last 3 games or something like that. So they're doing quite well. They're not doing quite well, but they are, you know, coming to some pace again. And we as Arsenal, we tend to face people that are either coming back on a strong point or players that can't seem to get a goal in like 500 years. Just play Arsenal, you will score against us. So
he's not scored for 6 months, and then here comes Arsenal. Yeah.
This is us. So
we will help you out. Yeah.
we'll give you that. But I believe if we turn up, we do our job. I see no reason as to why we can't take the 3 points and get out of there. Honestly, I would say this, and we spoke about this earlier as well. I would need our fans, to give us as much support as possible. But I say this, I should be saying this because the away fans are quite good for Arsenal, to be fair. It's their home fans, that's a different story. So with the away fans, just keep on giving the support, and surely we can go. I would say just keep it tight when you get into that game, and really just, if it's not working, just, you don't have to force it. The goal will come, right? And when I look at us, it's like we tend to. James, TJ, sorry, do you think we would have won that game against City if we had Saka, or do you believe that because we didn't have Saka, it gave a different dynamic to our game?
Injured Saka, we wouldn't have won. Injured because he's been playing on one leg. This is just my opinion. He's been playing on one leg the entire season, and you can see it. He's still scoring goals, but I think the mobility and the amount that the really, really good work that Jesus put in there on the right wing, I think that he put in a better performance than a one-legged Saka would have, in my opinion.
And the reason why I ask that is because I'm saying, would you want him to start in the Champions League or the Premier League match? Like, do we still give him a rest?
I only want him to start if he's healthy. Like, obviously that leaves a gap at number 9, but we also have options. We also have options for number 9. We could put Trossard in there. We could put Martinelli in there. We could put anybody other than Eddie and Nketiah in there. So it really is up to the manager, in my opinion. Like I will do anything in my power to keep Nketiah and Havertz out of the starting lineup for the champs. But if it means resting Saka and getting him back to 100%, that'll do us the most good in the long run, in my opinion.
Yeah. You mentioned Trossard as well, because when I look at Trossard, brilliant player, right? And this is a player that I wanted probably like 3 years ago. And when we just got linked to him, and I was like, yo, this is the type of player that we did. It's like, for me, it's like 3 years too late. But now that we have him, we carry on, we move on. And I look at Trossard and I say to myself that Arteta, there's something about him that Arteta don't like, right? And what I see with Trossard, he's a confidence player again, another confidence player, but he's more of a rhythm player. He needs to be starting and get into that rhythm, and you will get the best out of him. Now, due to the fact that he had those injuries and the manager giving him garbage minutes in some of the games, I'm saying we're not utilizing Trossard or bringing the best out of him, because we see what he can do. Like when he came in, he was it like 10 assists, in his first season?
He was cooking up until the injury. I agree.
So when I look, I would say Trossard really needs to be one of those players. When you talk about taking out players and replacing them, I believe Trossard really needs to get a couple of games going, and I would say a good amount of games. Like, he's not a type of player like you just put him off for one game. He might play well, but I believe you'll get the best out of him if you give him like 3 or 4 or 5 games, and then give him that rhythm, or that because he has the similarity to, I'm not comparing him to Santi Cazorla, but there's similarities to when I watch him play, and sometimes I say to myself, what about us putting Trossard in Odegaard's position from time to time? Because he knows a pass on him as well, and I believe when it comes to being on the edge of the box and being direct, that's where we get Trossard's best abilities.
Yeah,
so I would honestly start him.
I agree. No, I would love to start him, but I think where we need him is at either at number 9 or a left-sided 8. Like, I agree with you that if we really want to put him in there, then put him in there over Havertz. The last 2 games have worried me, and it wasn't. he didn't get garbage minutes against Lens. He started that game and wasn't good. And a lot of people said, oh, well, he's coming off of an injury. So I gave him that. But when he against Man City, he wasn't good either. Martinelli came in at the half and showed what we were missing on the left. So like I rate Trossard, don't get me wrong, and I would rather have him at number 9 than Nketiah or Havertz. But if I was given the chance, and no, I'm not going to get off that train. Sorry guys, I'm going to rail on this until it's done. But I do agree that he does need the minutes, but he needs to show that quality now, because he's had 2 bad games in a row. And, if we are going to continue to start him, he needs to get back on that train. I love Trossard. I think he is an extremely complete player. And I would take him over Mudryk over and over again.
Yeah, Trossard's a quality player.
No, just to wrap up, man. It's one of those things where the consistency needs to return for Trossard. That's it.
It does, and I'll just touch on it quite very brief because I know we go wrap up soon.
Take your time for a minute. Off your chest. It's all good.
I would say when I look at the Champions League match, one of the things that I saw was that the ball did not go on Trossard's side enough. And when he did get the ball, he actually try to beat some plays, 2-3 plays, and find some rhythm. This thing that Arsenal is doing, where it's attack on one side. Like, come on, just switch it up. Left, right, left. I don't know. Do some like GTA cheat code or something. Don't just don't just put one side. I like that. Yeah. Don't put like just one side. Like, yes, we are utilizing Saka's abilities and Martinelli and all that. Those are our players, and we have to find, if we buy them, we don't want to be in a position again where we have the likes of El Neni. Don't get me wrong, good, did the job for us or whatever, scored against Barcelona. He's been talking about it since. Yeah, great. Well, we need to move on. When we have those
scored against Barcelona, great. We need to move on.
Great. No, please. No. The fact that we still have this guy is kind of
I didn't even realize we had Cedric, TJ. I didn't even realize we still have Cedric.
We are still paying Cedric Suarez a salary. Okay, what? Really? Carl Hein. Come on, like there is some serious dead wood in this club.
And going on this, and I know we were just joking, but when you really look at it,
bring up Stephanie. Go on, carry on, fam.
The manager, right? He tried the not last season, the one before that, trying to get into the top 4. Rob Holding, right? Failed. Now he said to himself, listen up, everyone. Haiti, listen up. I got attention to me. I'm going to try.
He had to mute himself for a sec. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. But I think he's just sorting some stuff out. Hey, get us up to 50 likes before we close out, people. Get us up to 50 likes.
He said, I'm going to try.
Yeah, go, Grim.
Yeah, sorry about that. So he goes, I'm going to try Rob Holding again, but for the title charge. Like, where does it make sense? Please.
Dude, we're trying to if I have to keep doing an autopsy on the last half of the Arsenal, dude, no, I'm gonna need to start seeing an actual therapist.
That 22-23 season, the second half of it is not the one.
It's like
the way forward.
We're never gonna outrun it. We're never gonna outrun it, Grim. We're never gonna outrun it, bro. We're gonna have to hold it for the rest of our lives.
TJ, about Arsenal. If it doesn't make sense, then it's the Arsenal way. I always said this, honestly.
It don't make sense. It's the Arsenal way. This guy fool, yo. This guy, this guy. Sounds like talking about Manchester United. I'm not gonna lie, yo. That is a motto that fits us to a T with the vast majority of our decisions.
And for the record, everyone in the chat, if your dreams is to play football, just remember Nketiah is on 100,000 a week. just to let you know.
You too could play number 9 for Arsenal
It's
Football Club.
It's crazy that the way you are, and then K is the guy up top. It is mad.
And we're number 14. Sorry, go ahead.
It's crazy. And 14, he is. But yeah, people, we are gonna close out. I think we have got anything you two want to get to before we do indeed close out. Anything we missed in regards to Arsenal? Is that everything?
Just I would say that. Yeah. We'll see you next week, people.
Yeah, people. So yeah, larger everyone who is tapped in, big up to Grim each and every time. Make sure you subscribe to TJ's channel, TJ Warren TV. The link is underneath in the description on this live stream and every other live stream on the channel. It's also on the homepage as well. TJ, let them know what you got coming up tomorrow, over the weekend, etc., etc.
Yeah. So tomorrow we got the American Idiot Show, 9 p.m. We got Jess Collins from Lee Gunners fan reactions coming on, as well as Long-Haired Yeti. If you are in the Rat Army, you know who those guys are, so it's going to be absolutely wild. Nothing but straight facts in those guys. So come by, say what's up. 9 p.m. UK time. We're also doing the 500 subscriber celebration, I believe we agreed on 7 p.m. UK time. We're doing a couple of giveaways. Follow us. I'll shoot you the link if you want to stop by.
Yes, I'm gonna drop in. Yeah.
It's literally just people popping in and out. No pressure. I will just bring your drinks. I will be drinking. I don't do that on stream very often. I will do it. I might be in fine form. I'm not gonna lie, but I never thought I'd be monetized on YouTube either. So we moved.
Maybe you got you know what I'm saying.
So,
man. Deserve 500 subs to 4,000 watch hours. You put in great work, so it's only deserved. Consistent. I'm putting in great content. You live every day, so it's only deserved. But definitely send me the link. I will show up 100%. I'll pop in 100%.
All right, awesome. Yeah, and thanks again. Big up the chat. Big up Grim, and of course, big up Flawless, man. Thanks for running this. Appreciate it, bro.
Every time. Yes, Grim. Anything you want to add? Always a good chopping it up with you, fam.
Arteta.
What about Arteta? I just said Arteta. What about him? I just said Arteta. What about him?
My man's stressed.
When it comes to January, just do the right thing. That's all I got to say.
So that's first. That's first. All right, people, we are going to close out on that note. We're back tomorrow. Just the one live stream on the YouTube channel tomorrow, 10:30 p.m. Mandem United podcast. So myself, Eddie, the young G Nero will be on as well. He'll be the special guest as well. So discussing all things Manchester United. Never know with United what news can break from now until then. This is all an upcoming live stream schedule. Then Saturday, you'll get the Manchester United Chelsea Spurs show. So myself, Surfer, and Jez talking all things United, Chelsea, and Tottenham Hotspur. Obviously, that's the last crossover. And then Sunday night, midnight times, you'll get the Sarcasm City Sports Q&A. And then what I'm doing from next week, we are reverting away from the regular schedule, people. It's fan calling shows the entire week. So from next week, Monday, I'm doing fan calling shows. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And it's open to everybody. It doesn't matter what team you support. That's 10 p.m. UK time on Monday, on Tuesday, on Thursday, on Friday from next week. So I'm going to put out the link and feel free to call in. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you support United, if it's Arsenal, if it's Chelsea, if it's Spurs, if it's Liverpool, Manchester City, if it's another team in the Premier League, if it's a team outside of the Premier League, if it's a team somewhere in Europe, doesn't matter who you support. So feel free to call in. Like I said, don't matter if you're a regular, doesn't matter if you're new here. Andy M. Hughes just said I'll get on. I will say, if you are a member, then you queue jump people. So that is one of the perks of the membership for the fan calling shows. If you call in, because it is first come, first serve basis, that's how I run it, but you'll queue jump if you are indeed a member. Link for the memberships in the pinned comment. Big up to everyone that has tapped in. Don't forget to follow us on all audio platforms as well. If you prefer to listen to your podcast in audio only form, people, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts, type in Sarcasm City TV, and this show and all the other shows on the YouTube channel, apart from Watch Alongs, will pop up. The links for those are all underneath in the description, people. But love to everyone that has indeed locked in. Make sure you catch this show every Thursday, even though we won't be on next Thursday. The week after, people will be back to regular schedule, and obviously looking back at Arsenal versus Chelsea, as well as their game. They would have played Lens by that point as well. But love to everybody who has locked in. This has been the Manchester United Arsenal show, Mandem United podcast. Gonna talk from the Arsenal podcast live on the Sarcasm City TV, YouTube. Big up for tuning in.